delicious co-creators, Lilou here. I'm in Stockholm today, sunny Stockholm in Sweden with Carolina. Hello.
Hello, hello.
What a delicious, beautiful moment here outside in this summer of 2012. I love it.
Wonderful, wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Tell us what we have behind us. Is it...
This is a boat called Af Chapman. It's a youth hostel in the middle of Stockholm, the heart of Stockholm. And behind that you see the castle, the Swedish castle.
the Royal Castle?
Royal Castle, yes.
Ah la la. So Scotland is such a beautiful city. I find it so charming, big, spacious. It feels good. And when the sun is out, oh la la, the city is shining out. I'm really grateful to have been put in touch with you through Karin. The magical angel here that helped me in so many ways around Stockholm, and feel so connected. There's so many beautiful people around the world helping each other, and you made this courageous step that I feel can be very inspiring to many people, because you were in the corporate world and all of a sudden you had this big burnout and nothing could really be the same after that. Tell us about that part of the story.
Yeah. Well, I was having a career as any normal person, working a lot and doing what I thought was the wonderful thing that I wanted to do in life. And suddenly my body crashed and didn't function anymore, and I got in a burnt out state where I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do what I normally did, and the world was suddenly just black, and I got very depressed and down. And in this darkness, I had a little voice in the back of my head that told me that this is good. And I didn't believe him at first, of course, and I thought that, oh, this is no good at all. But he kept on saying that this is good and you're going to make it. Okay, I understand. I have to do something about it. No one else can help me. What's all this about? What am I about to do with this thing? And I realized that I had been doing the wrong things for the wrong reason. I'd been pursuing a career that was actually not for me. It did not come from my heart.
And you came out of the most prestigious school here in Stockholm?
Yeah.
Of economy?
Yeah, the Stockholm School of Economy.
So there's a certain background and certain heaviness and significance, and the parents are behind, and I guess, and everything is making it really heavy and significant, and you have to continue.
Yeah. Not that I had the pressure from my parents. I actually put the pressure on myself. I had no such a thing from my family, actually. It was just that somehow I put this, I had the grades and I got into this prestigious school, and I just continued, and then suddenly at the age of 30 it all crashed, and I realized I have to start at another angle. I have to start with going from inside and out instead. So I threw everything up in the air, all my values and beliefs and everything I'd had taken for the truth in life. I just threw it up in the air, and when it fell down, I checked each and every single one of them, and said that, is this true for me? Is this really me?
Like what?
For example, I thought that I was extremely analytical and not creative at all. And I was looking at this belief and said, okay, I know I'm analytical, but that's not all of me. I can be creative. And I started remembering that as a child I was extremely creative, and I did only creative things with my time. I was writing and creating things and sewing and you name it. And suddenly that came back to me, and I realized I had cut off all my creativity and only became like left part of the brain, analytical, structural, and all that part. And I cut off my creativity, and that got me sick. I also thought that I was meaning to be a leader in a big company, director or something. I thought I'm good at doing many things at a time and having a lot of people around. And when I looked at this belief, and I said, okay, what do I love most? I love most sit by myself and write and create. I actually get quite tired when I have a lot of people around me all the time, and it cuts my energy off. So okay, so I learned so many new things about myself while asking and really looking critically at all these things that I had taken for being the truth. I realized I'm more of a barefoot girl. I don't like the high heels and so on. I mean, all from all the small things to the big things. So this came out in a few months after this crisis. I realized I'm a totally different person that I had thought I was. Actually, I had dug to find the more real me, but at the time it felt like I'm changing. But I wasn't. I was just cutting off the things that I had put on myself
You
from.
must have received terrible panic attacks, shaking up, and all of it, because from experience, when we change our life, it's we go through terrible turmoil. I mean, even on a cellular level, it shakes.
Yeah. Yes, it was very, very shaky. I didn't know what's going to happen next, and what can I how will I support myself, and what will happen. What I had no idea. It was all black in the tunnel in front of me, but somehow this little man in my neck kept saying that this
It's a
is
man.
good.
Man.
There's a little man sitting there and telling me this is good. And I also, of course, I didn't do it all by myself. I went to a very good therapist, and I read a lot of books, and I met a lot of good people. But actually, at that time, not many people around me understood what I went through. It's come later. Actually, at the time, I just felt quite lonely and really trying to understand what was happening.
Yeah.
But I felt so strongly in my heart when I came to these conclusions that this is right for me. I have to go this way, even though I don't know where it's leading, but this is important, because otherwise I'll be sick again, or something worse will happen. So I know a half a year after this crisis.
You were already in a relationship?
No, I was just going to tell you that after 6 months or something after this crisis, I was sitting thinking, what if this is not what I want, because I didn't want to have it as I had it right then. What do I want? And I was single, sitting in a small apartment in the middle of the city. I was employed, but I didn't enjoy my employment at the moment, because I had realized I was someone else than when I started this employment. I longed for a relationship. I longed for children. I longed for being my own boss, having my own company. I longed for living in a wonderful house close to the nature, and everything it felt so far away, like 15 years, 20 years ahead. But still, I made this I wrote it all down, and I figured it for myself. I thought of it in my head, and then I forgot about it. 4 months later, I met my husband. I started my own company. 2 years later, we were married with kids and in a wonderful house. And I was all about living this dream that I had, meeting interesting people, doing the things that I wanted. And it had gone so quickly when I started to open up my heart and choose
you first. I mean, choose what was there, that choice making that you had to do.
Yes, the choice was to not look at what I thought that others wanted me to do or expected me to do, but just look at what's in my heart. I love to create, I love to write, I love to do. There must be some reason. There must be some reason that I have this longing, that I have these talents that I know. I mean, every person had different combinations of talents and longings and dreams. And I got the feeling that there must be a reason that I have this longing and this kind of talent. And I didn't know what it was going to lead to at that point, but it was so important to me. And when I first took out my creativity again, I got into flow and could sit all night long and create things and write, and I was so happy, and I realized that this is something very important happening.
And it was not coming from ego, because sometimes we set goals that are oh, I want a big home and drive this car, and sometimes it's a bit, what is really the essence? Those goals and intentions were coming from the heart and were real, and it was a deep longing and something that was already there, and he unmanifested.
Yes, that's exactly the difference. I had before tried to reach goals I thought they were set by me, but of course they were influenced by the society and friends and people around and everything. And when you reach those kind of goals, you always have to go for the next goal, because you don't get the satisfaction. When you start with your inner beliefs and say that this is what's important for me, that's what I was doing. I was just throwing away all the beliefs that didn't fit with me or didn't come from me. And when I did that, I remember I had worked down to, I'd put all the beliefs and things that was important in my life on a list, and I had put them in a priority order. And on the top of this list were freedom, and this is why I started my company, to be leading myself. The second one was strong and close relations. And so I met a wonderful husband and wonderful man where I couldn't have met him before, check, yes. And the third was creativity. And this took somewhat longer for me to reach. I did put it on my list. It was the third place on my list. Creativity is so important for me that I opened up for it. But it took, I think, maybe 6 years before I started my company that builds on the creativity part of me. But these putting my values first. These are not goals like I have to have that car or that house or that job. It was values that I put first in my life. These are really important values for me, and they got to lead me to what I was later doing.
And now you have this magical store in the center of Stockholm that Karin told me so much about, and I can't wait to discover. Tell me what's in there.
Yes, what happened was that in 2003, I think it was, I studied psychosynthesis. It's psychology with soul, you can say. And during that year, I meditated a lot, and in almost every meditation, it came to me, creativity, you should write, you should do something, you reach out to people, you wake them up. And for a long time I didn't know what are they talking about, what is this coming from, and I felt in my heart this is something really important. And at the end of this year, I started writing about the insights I got when I got burnt out. And I got into this flow again, this sitting all night, having a lot of energy and feeling really excited and very satisfied with what I was doing.
Living a juicy life.
Yes, extremely juicy. My husband said, "Wow, I've got a new wife. What's happening? I've got so much energy." I suddenly realized that this is an idea, I could work with this. So I started, because I love writing and I love creating, and I put the two, and I love personal development and spirituality. So I put all this together. I started like that. I stirred, and aha, watch what you get, see what you get. And out of the oven came my company that is called in English Kreativ Insikt and in Swedish Kreativ Insikt. And what it is that because the story was that when I came back from my burnt out period, my life crisis, I had to remind myself about all this insight I got. I thought I'll forget it when I start going back to life again. So I rediscovered my creativity. So I made little things from my home with the insights on. So beautiful little magnets for my fridge where it said like one of these, like listen to your heart, or
Believe in yourself.
Yes, believe in yourself, choose love, and so on. And I made bookmarks, and I made pictures for my walls and cards that I sent to myself. And so always reminding myself that you should never forget this again. Follow your dreams. You're the boss of your life. It's your life. And this came back to me in 2003, and I started making these things also to sell to others. So all my things, it could be jewelry, it could be magnets, cards, affirmation cards, posters, and so on. And all these things comes with beautiful picture, because beauty talks to your soul, and positive, strengthening words, because words have energy and they affect you positively. So you can part one is you get inspired to start thinking for yourself, okay, this is one thing that's important, but what's important for me? Yeah. What's in my heart? And the other thing is that when you surround yourself with these positive words, you get positive energy. So you get uplifted and you get in contact with your soul. So all these things that I create, that are in my store in Stockholm, and also we sell to other stores all over Sweden and some other countries. But when you get into the store, where all these things are, with all these positive words on them, you can feel the positive energy. So some people start crying when they get inside, or they say that it feels like I get a hug when I go into the store, because the words have such strong positive energy. And my hope is that it comes from my heart, and I want to reach out to each heart that gets the things, the small things. And it's a small thing, but it could have a big message on it. So that goes right to you.
It can be just that moment in time where we needed to read this, and boom, it hits, and we've heard it hundreds of times, but that moment, it's like ding.
Yes, and that's what I feel. I'm trying to inspire others to find what's in their heart and start from there instead from somewhere else. And I feel like, I mean, the most fundamental thing about life is that we all crave safety and love. And this is what I constantly want to remind about, that we are already loved and we're already safe. But you can't just tell that to someone, but you have to find ways so that they can go to their own heart and feel that this is the truth for them. So this is what I also get to hear all the time from our customers, that they feel they are so wonderful. They write me every week and tell me how they felt when they got one of my things. And
it's wonderful now, because I also read that you work with your husband and your kids, and your husband is into this, is very open, and he's all about being kind to ourselves, and he's discovering a whole new life for himself, hasn't he?
I think it's very, very strong of him, because when I came to him in 2003 and said that I want to live my dream, I want to write a book, I want to do this, I had no income at all. I wanted to start a company with something I'd never done, because I don't have an education for being either a writer or a designer. I just wanted to do what was in my heart. He was actually in the middle of a process where he was laid off from his company. So we were standing there having no income at all, and he still supports me in wanting to do this. So he said, okay, we'll try to do this together. We start just 3 months to try to do it. And we did, and we went on a trade show where people came into our little booth where we were standing with the first products I ever made, and people were crying, and they were saying, "Ooh, look at my arms, the hair is standing up. That you have to continue. This is what the world needs. Please continue doing what you're doing." So I think, because he's an entrepreneur at heart, so I think that he felt that here we can make a difference doing this. So this one part is that we are both driven by this is our small little way of contributing to peace on earth. I mean, that's really mission. But the other part is that this is a way for us to get our family together, because we work from home, and we have had small children all the time, and now they're a little bit bigger, but still we are there. We work a lot, but we are there for them, actually, when we get to our day together.
And you have this harmonious life that is balanced between the personal, the professional, the sharing, and the connectiveness, and knowing that you're making a difference. what a shift from this analytical person that you were to being to release and trust life and move forward. It's a big, huge step that a lot of us are taking.
Yes, it is, and I don't think it would be possible without discovering the spirituality of life, because before I was more black and white, and I I really thought that if you can't prove it with scientifically, it doesn't exist, and so on, and then life gets quite square, and you can't see as many possibilities. But when I opened up this whole box of spirituality and found that the life is so much more, you get help when you come from your heart, things magically happen, and you get help from like nowhere, and suddenly you're doing things you never thought you would do, and life gets excited in a way, and you get access to a whole new universe of energy and happiness and love and things you didn't know before existed. So trust, because this is one of the issues I hear a lot of people talk about, trust and faith, how difficult it is to have that. And that's always what stands in the way when you say, I don't dare to do this. I want to follow my heart, but I don't dare to do it because I don't think, how could I make a living, or how...
Or because for this and this and this reason.
Yes. And I think I early discovered, or in this process where I discovered in my life crisis, and I realized that I have to go from my heart, I found a faith that somehow got me through all the things, because when you look back, we didn't get any pay for many years, and we've been working a lot more than I thought to get this company going, and it has been working, but it has taken a lot of faith, really. And when you have the faith, it's easy. If you don't have the faith, it's very heavy. So that's really the difference, and feeling that if I feel safe and I feel that I'm loved, and then I can do almost anything. It's that's the really big difference. Life before, life after.
Yeah. Even in turbulent waters, like right now, it's like it's moving. But this is even in those times when you have faith and you have this stand, this commitment. You're rooted, you're grounded, and no matter what, it's kind of a storm could be coming at you, but you know, in a deep level, why you're doing it.
You can always get back to that core in your heart. And also the feeling that you're not alone. I mean, you feel. I always have this feeling that I'm on a trip together with the whole world here. Yeah. I'm doing this because this is okay. I can feel that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's a very comforting thought. It's really like when I think that, I get more strength, and then of course it goes better. So it goes hand in hand. Some people say, why? How can you think all these things when you don't know for sure that you are getting help and so on? But I think when I think those things, that I am loved, I'm safe, I get help and so on, we're all part of one, and so I get more strength.
And shows up.
Yeah, and then when I get more strength, more energy, more love, then I get that in return also. So it's you have to start with yourself to find the strength and love in yourself, and then you will find it out in the world, because you can always choose what to focus on, and you can choose to focus on what's lacking or what you don't have and what everything bad and everything, but that's also what life's going to look like if you do that. So I have chosen to focus on love and possibilities and what's good in life, and I think that is the best way to change the world, to come from the heart and do it. Yeah. You can work with tough things, hard things, but you can, when you do it from your heart and from a positive outlook, you can really change and make a difference.
And even create books for the Swedish out there. This book is in Swedish. It's not in English, so I didn't want to frustrate anybody.
Not yet.
Not yet. Tell us about this book.
Yes, this is
Beautiful cover.
Thank you. This is my book. If I translate the title, it will be "Let." What's this going to be? Let loose your inner life artist. Start living your life, and that really means that inside all of us we have a creator, very creative force that creates our, if we let it, can create our lives just as we want it. Everybody else has focused on their lives. We don't want to let them focus our life or get into our lives too much. We had each one of us should start with our own life. And I'm the one that know myself and my life the best, so I should be directing my life in the direction I want to. So this is partly my own story, but very much in a loving way I want to inspire you to find your way, because everyone has a unique way, a unique.
Yet very similar. There's similar lessons in our lives, and we can recognize each other in each other's journey. Yeah.
Yes, that's so true. Yes.
So beautiful. You're doing workshops. You trained people.
Yeah, we have a course built on this book, course material, and I'm not doing it myself because I want to let it free, and so there are people all over Scandinavia and maybe soon Germany.
Germany, here we come.
Doing the course with this the same title out there. So it's very exciting, and
it keeps on opening up, and new ideas come, and there's just no stopping.
yeah, soon we want to go abroad, and we are right now making apps for the mobile phones with affirmation cards and inspiration cards and stuff like that. And we are planning workshops and maybe more shops. We'll see. Later on.
Maybe in Paris.
Maybe in Paris, you never know. Everything could happen. That's the exciting thing. When we first started our company, my husband met a woman that said that as soon as he came into the door, she said, "Oh, you're going to have a store in New York." And we had just started our company, and we said, "Oh, wow, that's a nice goal."
That's a big vision.
Yeah.
You make it in New York, yeah?
Here we come.
Well, this has been very inspiring. Thank you, Carolina, for this delicious moment. And we're blessed by the weather, blessed to have this conversation, get together, and be able to spread it. Isn't that inspiring, my beautiful co-creators? We send you much love from beautiful Stockholm in Sweden. You must come if you can. It's lovely here. Much love. We send you lots of beautiful energies. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, Lilou. Wonderful, wonderful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.